Good morning. I'm feeling so excited. I hope I look excited, but I want to share with you about my book. It's finally, after 4 years, with me. Um, Pray, read, reflect. I'm just so thrilled that it's now available on Amazon, on Kindle, and on a paperback. I know it's been a long time coming, but now's the time to kind of like start thinking about launching it properly. I'm just doing this rather informal chat on Facebook because I'm going to do a proper talk on YouTube very shortly when I've worked out a little bit more of what I'm going to say. But I I was going to find it difficult to share, and I probably haven't said as much as I've wanted to about the book in the past because I I have tended to suffer from, I suppose it's called imposter syndrome, where I've always kind of like felt as if I had to act as if I was an author and act as if I was knowledgeable as a Christian, but I always felt this inadequacy, and there was always this doubts and these voices that would come, and particularly at night time, and say, who do you think you are? What do you think what do you think you're doing? And no one's going to want to read it, and all these negative thoughts. And I was excited when I went to church last week to tell people about my book, but I just sort of felt as if it was hard to say anything. And it was when I was sitting there during the last hymn and I couldn't quite read the words that I felt God was speaking to me and encouraging me. And I just want to share this, that I felt he was saying, don't think of it as your book, it's my book, and you should be excited about what I've been sharing with you and how I've been helping you and what I've been teaching you, and you should be excited. It's not boasting in yourself. I don't want you to do that, but I want you to glory in how I've been with you and how I've led you through this journey, and I just, well, I can't remember everything, but I kind of just felt these thoughts were not of my own, but I felt that God was putting them into my mind, and I just felt this encouragement, and I felt myself saying, yes, this is your book. I'm not claiming any the divine inspiration like the Bible. I know that God has inspired me, but there's a lot of probably me in it. I'm just an imperfect human vessel that has tried to convey what I felt the Holy Spirit was teaching and showing me. And in some places, I feel sure this has come across well, but there are other parts where maybe it's just my thoughts and my own reflections. But this is for you to pray about, read, ask the Holy Spirit to guide you and to show you what's of God and what's just of me. But I've just prayed that you're going to enjoy it. And anyway, I'll share a little bit about the book. It's, well, difficult to say exactly what it is because it's a journal in one way, that there's spaces and pages for you to write your notes in. And it's a book, yes, about how to read the Bible and how to pray, but it's sharing the many different ways of praying and the many different ways of approaching the Bible and reading it. And I'm not going to say too much because I'm going to be talking on YouTube and sharing some of the chapters on it later. But it's for the person that wants to know how. It's not for the expert that thinks, yes, I know it all. I don't need any more books on prayer. It's not for them. It's not for the person that's a deep theologian that wants everything in very intellectual language and maybe wants to go really deeply into certain areas. And it's also not for those who are very convinced in their own mind about everything, that have got that are not open to new ways and new ways of thinking and new challenges and new insights, because some of the things in here may be new to you. It covers so much, from reading the Bible as a storybook, reading the Bible through the Psalms, reading the Bible to find out more about God and Jesus, reading it maybe just to find out a little bit more about yourself. And in prayer, it's based on the words many types of prayer. So we're looking at prayer like lament and praise and those kind of ways of praying, but it's not so much ways of praying like how to be speaking and how to be talking to God, because that's just so personal. But it's a lot of the practical type of prayer. How to pray in a prayer group. How to pray when you're really bursting to pray for somebody, but you just don't know how, and you don't know really whether you should be praying for them. How to pray for your children. How to open a meeting in prayer. How to pray within the prayer group, as well as privately in your personal devotions and prayer time with God. And it covers such a very broad area, so it's quite a big book. It is wrote that it can be used as a study guide for home groups and Bible study groups and book clubs, but it covers so much. My suggestion is that if you're thinking that you might want to use the book within a church or a group, to read it for yourself first. It will need a little bit of work done to choose what you're going to select and what you're going to read. Otherwise, you're going to be reading it for months. But you can choose a chapter, choose a section, and do a theme on that, and just read together and pick bits of it from it. It's a book you can dig into. You can delve into as I've put on the back of it. And I'm just going to read the back, and then I'm going to be closing in a moment. But it says, I've written, my desire as the author of this book is not just to provide answers or to entertain you, but to give the reader searching for pearls of wisdom. This is my prayer, not that you'll find the tips and suggestions and stories in reflections in my book of great worth, and there's a quote, Matthew 13, verse 44, but that you'll find your own hidden treasure. Yeah, I believe that God can bring treasures out from this book. He put treasure, what I believe was treasure from him, within my heart that I share in here. I share the stories, and they are all true. Believe me, that I haven't exaggerated. There are stories of miracles and things which you may not find easy to believe, but I didn't find them easy to believe myself. But we serve and we belong to a supernatural God, and we have the Holy Spirit within us, and that's all is supernatural. So there is going to be the supernatural in here, but there's also an awful lot of just practical common sense tips and ideas and thoughts. And well, I'm going to talk a little bit more about this book on YouTube, but more about the journey and how I came to be writing it and what it's meant to me and what I've learnt myself just through going on this journey with God. And well, I'm just going to say, do get hold of the book. It's not expensive to buy. You could get the Kindle version, and I believe that it's free for those that are on Kindle Unlimited. It's from Amazon. It's a lot in it. It was going to be 2 books, but I felt that one book was going to be really quite large, the one on prayer, and the one about reading the Bible was much smaller, shorter, and I really wanted people that read one of them to read both books. And the only way I could really feel that they'd be likely to read both books is to make it one book. But it is really kind of 2 books in one. But anyway, I'm going to love you, leave you, say God bless, and please, if you do get this book and you enjoy it, do leave a review for me. You can just to encourage others to buy it too. I'm not into making money. I just want to share. I just want this to be a ministry to build up God's kingdom, encourage Christians, teach Christians. It's written for everybody. It's written in accessible, simple language, so that a person that hasn't got a good education or hasn't got any O levels or, well, I don't know what they call them now, GCSEs or whatever you'd learn at school. Those that have just left school knowing very little at all and barely able to just about read. It's written for everybody so that they could read it too. But I mustn't go on too long. Sorry, I don't want to keep you too long, but as I said, I'm excited. And I just want you to be excited and pleased with me. Bye.